Well, happy Tuesday live stream. I'm a little late today, but I told you that in my email. So can you hear me? So if you're not on my email list, you should be, because then you would have known I was coming 1 hour late today. By the way, if you're not on my email list, I send an email every Tuesday morning and I remind you that I'm going live, and I give you a hint, a taste of what the topic is all about. So there's a couple of ways. The easiest way is probably go to liveyourpurposechallenge.com and you can get on my email list. But there's a couple different ways. Bulletjournalingformamas.com. I have several areas where you can jump on my email list. Even if you just go to the blog, Life and Grace, you'll find a way to get on it there. So anyways, I sent an email this morning all about resentment. Yay! Hi, Janine. Hi, Brandy. Hi, everybody. Okay, here's what I want you to do. This is going to be a powerful live stream today. I want you to share this out with your people. I want you to tell them they need to come watch. We're going to find some freedom today, you guys. As you jump on, here's what I would love to know in the chat box. I would love to know if you currently are feeling resentful. Okay, so currently, just say yes. If you have felt resentful in the near past, just say yes. If you know that you're a sinner and you will feel resentful in the future, just say yes, basically. Everybody say yes. Thank you, Christy. Christy's willing to be honest today. We're just the humans, so we're going to feel some resentment sometimes. But we're going to decide today if we want to keep it or not. So it's going to be a fun topic. Hi, Sally. Yes, and yes, and yes. I wanted to cover this topic, you guys, because some of you are in my life mentoring school. You're in my monthly coaching program. And in my program, we're currently talking about reimagining your past. And one of the questions I've been getting over and over is, but how do you get past? How do you forgive people for things they've done wrong to you? How do you get past that? What do you do? Just let them off the hook? So we're going to cover it today. We're going to talk all about it today. So, hi, Miss Susan. Hi, Alicia. You're doing so much better. Awesome. If you are in Life Mentoring School, can you drop a 1 below in the comments if you are currently in Life Mentoring School? Tell me if I have some of my people here. If you're not in it, you guys, you need to get on my email list, because we're not opening it back up to the public until March. But we've had a lot of requests for people to get in after we closed it. So we are going to, just to my email list, in a month or two, we're working out the details. We're going to open it for a short window. So, hi, Christy. Oh, yay, you guys are in there. So awesome. So awesome. Okay, so what we are covering today is we are talking about why resentment is poisoning you, why forgiveness is magic, and 3 steps that you can take to forgive someone. So that's the topic today. How do you feel about that topic? I did 3 cheers earlier because, nobody really likes to talk about resentment. But it is hugely, hugely, hugely important. And forgiveness is so freeing. You want to be set free today? Just tune in to this live stream, because you are going to have the chance to be set free today. Let me go over a couple things. First thing I want to tell you is, where do we get the idea for forgiveness? We didn't come up with it. I will tell you that. We did not come up with it. We got the idea from forgiveness, from the Father of all mercy and forgiveness. God, who loves us, created us for communion and connection with each other, and who forgives us all our sins and transgressions. So this is not our idea. This is not something that we just thought, oh, that's going to be great because I'm just going to do this thing. So there's the forgiveness of the Father, which is so complete and for every person. And his unconditional love toward us is almost unfathomable, you guys. As I was growing up and having a lot of what some people might call a very troubled childhood, it was super easy to build resentment. How many of you know how easy it is to feel angry and resentful toward people in your life? I grew up going, oh, why do I feel this way? I don't really like feeling this way, but I guess I have no choice because look what happened to me and look what happened to me again. So it was super easy to just fall into resentment and blame and anger. Of course, I'm a good Southern girl, so it was all buried in there. And I tried to put on a good face, so it's just eating me away, from the inside. And when I was writing my book about all these issues, I got to the point where I realized, because here's the thing, it was easier for me actually to write about the things that happened in my childhood that happened to me. When I got to my young adulthood, where I set my own life on fire, where I was the perpetrator, where I was the one who needed to be forgiven, it changed everything. And when I realized that God forgave me all of that, what I realized is, how could I even pretend to hold on to these wrongs that have been done to me when I have been completely forgiven? It reminded me of the parable in the scriptures where the king has a servant, and this servant owes the king like 10,000 years' wages or something like that. And the king forgives him all his wages, but then somebody owes him like 2 months' wages, and he won't forgive the debt and kills the guy or whatever. That's us. We like demand our rights, demand, like this person needs to apologize. This person has wronged me. But what we forget is that we are also the perpetrator. And if we're honest with ourselves, and when I'm really honest with myself, the thoughts that I have, the grudges I hold, the secret resentments, the secret habits, like all of those things the secret life we often live, when we get really honest with ourselves, we're just like the next guy. I saw that I was really no different than my dad. And when I looked at his life and the things that had happened in his life that possibly led to him being an alcoholic and led to him being absent and led to him not parenting me in the way I wanted, I realized he just was probably doing the best he could do. And then I became a parent, and I realized how hard it is. And I just could no longer, in good conscience, hold on to this grudge and resentment that I was holding, because I saw myself for what I really am. And I embraced the forgiveness of God, who meets me right where I am, who knows my sin, knows my wretchedness, knows my heart, and loves me anyway. And for the sake of Jesus, forgives me. So there's that unbelievable, amazing gift that we've been given of forgiveness, the forgiveness of God. Then there's our forgiveness as humans toward each other, which is way more complicated and way more fraught with error and way less perfect and way more messy, right? And here's what I realized. I realized that, and I said this in my email this morning, but I want you to imagine it. Us holding on to grudges, resentments, anger. The person that feels that, because I used to think, well, I'm just punishing these people in my life for this hard thing I went through. But the only person I was punishing was me, because our bodies are really, really well trained at, when we think thoughts of resentment, you know where resentment and anger come from? Us, our thoughts. When I'm creating the thoughts or letting the thoughts stay with me, thoughts of this shouldn't have happened, I was treated poorly, all of these thoughts of resentment and anger, and then I get to feel resentment and anger. My body is a master at being like a little bartender and going, oh, let me mix up the cocktail of resentment and anger and blame. and your body mixes the cocktail up and shoots it into your veins. So the reason we feel bad when we hold these resentments and grudges, some of you are feeling this right now when I bring it up, because it makes you feel it. Somebody, I guarantee you, I want you to type a 1 in the chat box if already somebody came to mind. Oh, I just can't let go of that. That was so awful what they did to me. Some of you are thinking of somebody right now, and your body's responding by making you feel bad. You feel physically bad. And what I realized is it's only poisoning me. I'm the only one feeling the special cocktail of resentment and blame and anger. Only me. They don't get to feel it. The people that I'm holding this grudge against, that I can't forgive, I'm holding on to. It's like I'm holding a porcupine and I'm going, I'm not letting go of this. Do you know what happened? Do you know what they did to me? I'm just going to hold this so tight. And it's poking into you. And it's stabbing you. And you're hurting from it. But you won't let go of it. And when I began to realize this for myself, I realized how much power I'm giving over to the other person. I feel like I'm holding them hostage. No, I'm holding myself hostage in this prison of anger, resentment, blame, feeling bad from it. I'm the only person being held hostage. So here's what I want you to realize. To forgive, if you look in the dictionary, to forgive means to stop feeling resentment and anger. That's one of the definitions of it. Now, that means for me to forgive, all I have to do is stop feeling those feelings. If you've been following me long enough, you know where feelings come from. Feelings don't come from what other people do to you. Your feelings are generated in your body by your thoughts. So you're having these feelings that are coming from your thoughts, and they're giving you this result in your life of holding a grudge, of being resentful, of being bitter. And you feel like you don't have a choice because, and I know what your brain's doing right now. Your brain's like, well, if I could come through this video right now, I would just tell you the whole painful story and you would realize why I'm holding on to the porcupine. Because this is the argument I used to have with myself and with other people who were trying to help me work through it, with my counselor. Like, no, you don't understand. The reason I feel this way is because of what happened. It's not the reason you feel this way. The reason you feel this way is because of how you're choosing to think about it. Your resentment, your anger is the result of a painful story that you're choosing to hold tightly. And my question is, for the sake of yourself, can you loosen that hold on that porcupine, that painful story that you keep telling yourself over and over and over? Those thoughts that you are having about that person, are you listening? Are optional. And the only person you hold hostage by continuing to feel that way and think those thoughts is yourself. So here's my question, you guys. Again, I'm separating two things here, okay? I'm separating the love and forgiveness and amazing mercy of God, because that's where we get this idea from of unconditional love and of forgiveness. That's where it all comes from. But there are some practical steps that we can take when we're talking about forgiveness between us humans who don't have this perfect forgiveness and this perfect mercy. And when we insist on holding on to it, we insist on making ourselves miserable with this cocktail of emotions that our bodies get really good at producing. We can think these thoughts for so long that our body goes there just like that. Some of you are feeling that way right now. You've got like tightness in your chest and you feel kind of sick and you're like, oh, I don't even know if I can listen to this anymore because it makes me feel this way. The reason you feel that way is because you've trained your body to feel that way. And is it worth it for yourself for you to feel that way? Now, some of you are going, but, you don't know. You don't know what happened. This was a terrible situation. Nobody should have to go through this. This was really bad. I don't think I should have to forgive them. You don't have to. Here's when you know that you might want to forgive. When you get tired of feeling the resentment in your own body. You get tired of feeling angry. You get tired of feeling resentful. You get tired of blaming. You get tired of bitterness. When you get tired of it, then you might be willing to change it. You're not going to change it because somebody else says, hey, you should forgive. But when you realize how much power you have to feel the way you want to think the way you want to, you might decide, I've felt this way long enough. 40 years is long enough to be bitter. I mean, you've done that feeling. You've done that thing. And has it been long enough? Are you tired of that? Would you rather feel peace and joy and love instead? It doesn't mean that you have to be best friends with the person who wronged you in some way. And I put that in quotes because, again, that's a story that we tell ourselves. Doesn't mean you have to do that. You can put up some boundary for yourself. That's fine. But most of the time, you guys, the freedom that you get when you really grasp the power that you have in your own life to not resent, you don't even need a boundary because freedom doesn't really need boundaries because freedom is freedom and freedom is amazing and forgiveness is like magic. Forgiveness takes what stirred up in you, all this negativity and all these emotions and all this drama, and it just drops it. It just drops it like a hot potato. It just lets go of the porcupine, right? You're not making the other hurt person hold the porcupine. You're just holding it. And some of you are not just holding it, you're squeezing it to your chest because you're so convinced that you're justified in feeling this way. I'm justified in being resentful and making myself miserable and being bitter. That's fine. But look what you're doing to yourself. It's poisoning you from the inside out. And it might be time to say, like, I've had enough of that. I did that for a long time. I don't really want that anymore. Let me give you 3 quick tips that might help you make this transition. Number 1, the thing that's causing your pain is not what they did to you. Don't beat me up for that one. The thing causing your pain is not what they did. The only thing that can ever cause you pain are the thoughts you have about it. Because your feelings come from your thoughts. You can't feel their feelings. So what they do to you is one thing. We call that the circumstance. What you think about what they do to you is your power. That's your thoughts. You don't feel resentful because of what happened. You feel resentful because you continue to choose to think about it in a way that makes you feel resentment. Okay, number 2. You're generating the resentment from those thoughts. So number 1 is your thoughts are causing your pain. Number 2, that means you're causing your pain. You are. And you can decide, number 3 is you can decide at any time that thought is optional. So when I was doing this with my dad, you guys, I can't even tell you the beauty and freedom that I felt when I didn't have to feel like I was holding him hostage anymore. Guess who got to go free? Me. I get to go free. I don't have to carry around a heavy backpack of bitterness and resentment and blame and anger and hurt. I get to lay it down. I get to let the porcupine go. And then I get to feel better. And I get to decide day after day after day, is this thought serving me? Is it serving me to feel this way about this person? And do I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, recognize that it's my thoughts causing it? So the thing that I want you to do to practice this is I want you to do a thought download on the 5 thoughts that are causing you the most pain. What's causing you pain? Who are you having a hard time forgiving? Who are you resenting right now? Who are you angry with? Who is causing you pain in your life? And I want you to carry it all the way through. What's the thought you're having about them? How do you feel from that thought? Such and such ignored me and always leaves me out. This is a perfect one, you guys. This friend of mine ignores me and always leaves me out, and she didn't invite me last week to whatever. You think that's just a circumstance. No, that's just what happened. No, that's your thoughts about what happened. You can rewrite that story anytime you want. And when you realize that it's the story that you tell yourself about what happened that either causes you pain or causes you peace, you can choose. And you can hold on to the painful story as long as you want, because I'm not the boss of you. But I want you to at least recognize that you're choosing to do it. And stop blaming somebody else because you feel resentful. You feel resentful because of the way you think about the issue. So you can own it and you get all your power back. And you can know that if I'm holding on to this, that's fine. I want to hold on to it for a little while longer. Maybe there's no rush, or maybe you're just sick and tired of feeling that way. And maybe you just need to know that it's optional. Thoughts are optional. The thoughts that you're having about your husband, if you're feeling bitter and resentful, I used to have this thought all the time. I'm the one who does everything. Raise your hand, ladies, if you're guilty of having that thought a lot. Well, I just do everything. We love to have that thought because we love to secretly resent the spouse for not taking out the trash and picking up this. And, why am I remember another really miserable, resentful thought I had was, why am I always the one who's making the food? Optional thought. You know what happened when I changed that thought? Here's what happened. I fell in love with cooking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to make the dinner. I get to pour some kombucha, maybe wine. I get to put on an apron and put on some music and make dinner. I live in a country where I can just go buy food at the grocery store. And I fell in love with the process when I stopped complaining about it. Do you see what's available to you on the other side of resentment and blame and anger and bitterness is peace and beauty and joy. And it's all because of the way you choose to think about it. Now, you really want somebody else to help you with dinner? Just ask. Help. Sometimes I do. I'm like, hey, honey, can you come here and, whatever. And I love having help in the kitchen. But I also have come to love just the privilege of being in the kitchen. So I want you to think about what you're resenting. We all are resenting things, you guys. I'm teaching you this, and I had to make my own list before this. Who am I silently, secretly resenting right now? And why am I choosing to make myself feel resentment? So I want you to do this. It's a powerful exercise. I don't want you to do it in your head. I want you to do it on paper, because when you write it down on paper, it's so powerful. And I want you to see how this little tweak makes it so much easier to forgive. It doesn't feel, we make it so complicated. We feel like, no, I'm going to wait until this person apologizes, until they feel really sorry. You're not forgiving for them. You're forgiving. To forgive is for you to stop resenting and you to stop feeling anger, because it's in your actual body. It doesn't require them at all. So I want you to think about that. I want you to do the exercise. And I want you to tell me how it goes. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. If you are not on our email list, these are the topics that we dive into and do our homework on every month in Life Mentoring School. We're not opening to the public until March, but we are going to offer a short window of opportunity for people on our email list who have been asking to get in. So we would love to have you in there sometime. So join our list if you're not already on it. The other thing is, remember the podcast. The podcasts are super easy to share with other people. It's called Your Best Beautiful Life. If you are enjoying the podcast, please go give us a review on iTunes. We would so appreciate that. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here today. Thank you for being open to teachings that are sometimes hard for us. Okay, love ya. Bye.